Hello lovelies and welcome to another video. Today I'm here to review this very secret society of irregular riches by Sangu Mandana, and I read this as a buddy read with the lovely Sharon Joy from Sharon Joy Reading, who I first found on TikTok, but she's also on Instagram. I would definitely recommend following her if you like specifically horror. She does a lot of horror reviews, which is just awesome, but every now and then she dips into something cozy and cute like this, and we had a blast reading this together. We're definitely going to be doing some more buddy reads before the year's out for sure. I mean, it's only what, the third month in. Of course we're gonna get some more buddy reads together. So a little bit about what this is and then we'll get into my review. As one of the few witches in Britain, Mika Moon has lived her life by 3 rules. Hide your magic, keep your head down and stay away from other witches. An orphan raised by strangers from a young age, Mika is good at being alone, and she doesn't mind it, mostly. But then an unexpected message arrives begging her to travel to the remote and mysterious Nowhere House to teach 3 young witches, and Mika jumps at the chance for a different life. Nowhere House is nothing like she expects, and she's quickly tangled up in the lives and secrets of its quirky, caring inhabitants. And with Jamie, the handsome, prickly librarian who would do anything to protect his charges, and who sees Mika's arrival as a threat. An irritatingly appealing threat. As Mika finds her feet, she's... Hello! Hi! My little kitty cat! As Mika finds her feet, the thought of belonging somewhere starts to feel like a real possibility, but magic isn't the only danger in the world, and soon Mika will need to decide whether to risk everything to protect the found family she didn't know she was looking for. This was adorable. I think I found a new favourite subgenre. This is described as like cozy magical romance, and I also think it's my kind of more of a sturdy gateway, my guide into exploring more romance and really enjoying it. My pigtails are doing some crazy things. Let's just pretend that's not happening. But honestly, I was practically grinning from ear to ear when I was reading this one. It was just so sweet and delightful. But don't let that fool you. Don't let the cute cover fool you. There are a few like steamy scenes. I mean, steamy for me anyway, because I don't read a lot of romance. So anything like hand holding and more is just like, oh my god. But no, there were some like really sexy moments in this that was played off beautifully. But it was balanced with the general like cute, just darling atmosphere that this book gave. I adored all of our characters, especially Mika, and I loved seeing her become open with the other characters in Nowhere House, and it was just really nice to see that reflection of her personality inwards, because as you read from the synopsis, she's always had this sense of being alone, and to finally find a place where she feels like she belongs was just so beautiful to read. And it just, when she was in tune with herself and matched her personality, it was just such a beautiful Mika Moon. Absolutely perfect. I really loved seeing her relationships grow and just her releasing those vulnerabilities and being open with others. That in itself, especially when you learn about how she was brought up and generally how witches are brought up in this world, it just was very inspiring and heartbreaking. But I think that all the connections that were made due to the backstory and how everybody was kind of created just really connected perfectly, just perfect. There were some gentle plot twists in this. That's not to say they didn't take me by surprise, but I didn't think they were like super high stakes, you know what I mean? It was a nice change of pace to what I'm used to, where I typically read more like heavy on the fantasy side or just high fantasy in general. So it was nice to have high stakes, but in a okay, we can achieve something, let's think about it level-headedly, no like monsters and crazy things like that happening. Our main POV is Mika, but we did flit in between some of the other characters within the scene. This I found a little bit confusing because it always came unannounced from what I remember, and quite informal because it just switched in and out like mid-chapter. It took me a little while to kind of reacquaint with who I was following the perspective from. It was only like fleeting moments, but it did get me a little bit topsy-turvy when it did happen. So I think maybe more, I don't know, formal kind of structure in if they want to switch back and forth POVs would have helped me to kind of stay on track with who was talking and whose head we was in at that point. I did feel like it read a little bit young than what I was expecting, but mainly at the start, and mainly due to, I think, Mika's personality. She's just very cheery and bubbly and full of life despite the hardships that she's gone through and, you know, being isolated and alone. But the steam scenes were steaming, like they do, as I say, do not be fooled. There were some smoky scenes, but yeah, I still enjoyed how it was read. It didn't bother me or anything like that. Overall, absolutely adored my time with Mika and the found family, and I didn't want this to end. As I said at the beginning, I was grinning from ear to ear. I absolutely adored my time in this. It was magical, romantic, unexpectedly, for me, spicy, and just pure bliss. I will definitely be picking more up from this author, and she could possibly become an auto buy, because this one was just a firm favourite, I would say. It just brought me so much joy. Anyway, you guys will have to let me know what you thought of this book, if you've yourself read it, if you're interested in picking it up, and if you have any other recommendations that are like this. I have Legends and Lattes, which is also described as like high fantasy, low stakes, and I'm leaning towards that kind of subgenre, as I say. So any other recommendations like this with a little bit of romance in there maybe, I'd love some suggestions. So yeah, chuck them in the comment box if you would like. Anyway, that is it for me today. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I shall catch you in another video soon. Bye!